Hello and welcome to this presentation. Today we're going to be talking about the assessment 2 and the e-commerce application I built for this particular assignment. So this is the screen that greets the user when they log on. So I'm just going to start by entering the admin credentials that are inserted into the database when you open it. So admin, click login. This then takes you to the list of products that are available. So here we can see against each there is the image, the name of the product, the price, the spinner, which has the total in stock that you can select, the total in stock, the total in basket, a description, and the add to basket button. So here we can scroll down and see the list of products. So as an example, I will add a few of each to the basket. So 3 of the Dom Perignon, 2 of the Petrus, as it's a slightly pricier item, and a Barolo. Then if we click the basket button, this then opens the basket screen seen at the top here that displays the total in the basket for each and the order total here, which is £9,270. If we then click the checkout button, this then routes you to the PayPal screen where you can then type in an email, drop that down, which then shows you the order total again. If you then click confirm payment, this then brings up the toast message that payment is successful. The order total has been changed to 0. And then if we go back to the list of products by clicking the home button, the stock has then been adjusted to reflect the original. So 19 has now been changed to 16, 5 has been changed to 3, and the 3 has been changed to 2, which reflects that. If we then log out, this then takes you back to the login screen, and we will now create a new user. So if I just create just an example record, if we then click register, this then brings up the toast message that this has been created successfully, and then we can use these credentials to log in. Here we go. If I then go back and try and log in with incorrect credentials, so as you can see, it brings up a pop-up that says username must be a minimum of 5 characters. And then if we do the same with the password must also be a minimum of 5 characters. If I then click login, invalid credentials. So as the reason was it was a minimum of 5, let's try something if it is longer. So this, for example. So as these credentials are not in the database, it will not allow you to log in. If I then click the clear button to refresh that, and then let's re-log in with the admin details. This shows that you can log in with the different credentials. So if we now look at the backend code, so the first we'll talk through is the all item holder. So this is the holder that displays the different fields for each product as seen on the right hand side. This is implemented in a linear layout, and then this is called in the recycler view in each of the activities, which then picks up each of these and gives it the appropriate details to display the list of products. In the holder, we can see all the appropriate views and declarations at the top before the different getters and setters for each. So set in the different values for each field before declaring each of the views here, and the add to basket button, which then shows this, and also the updating product basket method, which updates the backend database when items are added to the basket. If we then move across to the basket XML, so this has got the recycler view, which has the list of items. Above this, we've got the title, the order total field, the checkout button, and the different operator buttons at the bottom. This is implemented in a relative layout with the recycler view in the middle. In the basket code here, we've got the relevant declarations at the top, the default constructor initialized here. This has got the different database operatives which retrieves the quantity in the basket for each product in order to calculate the order total here, and the different operations for the different buttons. Moving across to the checkout activity, here we can see the layout with the different fields. This was implemented in a linear layout with an edit text to enter the email address. And in the checkout, here we can see the different database operations which occur. So retrieving them again to calculate the total order sum. And then when the confirm payment button is clicked, here we can see the database operations that occur. So retrieving the different qualities, values, in order to calculate the new qualities that need to be inserted into the database for the total quantity, and then the update queries down here, which then update the basket quantities for each product and the stock quantities for each product. Moving across to the main activity, this is the login screen we can see here. So we can see the text input layouts for username and password, which allows us to add the error control, the different buttons below, and the image and title above. In the main activity here, we can see the relevant declarations at the top, the error handling up here, the on-click listener for the login button, which then verifies the login credentials to ensure they're correct. Below this, here we can see that add new user method, which is currently not used, as I handled this differently in a different method. And here we can see the error handling below. So when the credentials are not correct, or if they are below 5 characters, this is what then brings up that error. Moving across to main activity 2, this is the shop home. So here we can see the list of products, the shop title at the top, and the navigation buttons below. Again, this was implemented in a recycler view, which then calls the all item holder as with the basket. In the main activity 2 Java class, we can see the relevant declarations at the top. Every time the application runs, it clears all records and reinserts them so we can ensure we start with a fresh set of records. And we can see the different button operations below this. So moving on to main activity 3, here we can see the data entry form for creating a new user, so the different fields with the instructions. Again, these were implemented with text input layouts and text input edit texts. Move over to the Java code, here we can see the relevant declarations at the top before retrieving the values which are in each field, so converting those to strings. And then here we can see the add new user method, which then adds these to the database and inserts the new record. Below here we can see the error handling, so saying that the username must be more than 5 characters, as with the password, the open main activity, so when the register button is clicked, and then the add new user method, which then handles how these are then implemented and inserted into the database. Moving over to the all products adapter class, this class is where the different views are handled. So if we scroll here, we can see the holders for each view, which sets the different values by getting whatever the one is that is selected. Moving on to the MyDB class, so this is the database which is declared for the users. So here we can see the different values entered at the top, the database information, the default constructor, which declares the context, open database connection method, close database connection method, the clear all records, which is currently unused. The does username exist, so this validates when creating a new user whether the username already exists in the database. The insert record method, which is called by the add new user in the main activity 3. This then inserts the new user record into the database, and the login user, which validates whether the credentials are correct. So it scans through the database using a cursor, reads the different values and ensures that the credentials are correct and the existing record is there. Moving on to the DB helper, which pairs with this MyDB class. This is how it's implemented with SQLite. So here we can see again the same declarations at the top. The onCreate method, which verifies whether the table already exists in the database. If not, it then creates the table again. Here we can see the error handling, so I can check in the logcat and make sure it's executed correctly. And then the on upgrade, so whenever a database update occurs, this then changes the version of the database. Moving on to the MyDB2, so this is the second database I created for products. So as with MyDB, here we can see the value declarations at the top, the default constructor, open database connection method, close database connection method, clear all records, which removes all product records from the database. As with the other one, the insert records, which reinserts those into the database. Return all products, which is used in the recycler view to call all the products in the database. Then these values are each used in order to fill the values. Return basket products, which adds the filter here, so the selection criteria. So this is where I implemented the product basket quantity field to validate whether items are in the basket or not. So if it's equal to 0, it will not be in the basket. If it's not equal to 0, it will be in the basket, hence this selection here. And the get product from cursor. So again, this scans through and retrieves the details. Paired with this is the DB Helper 2 class. As with DB Helper in the first user's example with products, it again declares the values at the top. The default constructor with the context as follows. The onCreate, which again verifies whether the table exists or not. If not, creates a new one. The error handling for the logcat, as with again. The onUpgrade for the version control. Reset auto increment, which is currently not used as I implemented the basket in a different way. And the getWritable database method, which allows the application to make changes to the database. If we then move across to the product class, this handles the getters and setters for all the different attributes within the class as seen here. And as with user here we can see all the getters and setters. Thank you very much.